Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about campus connection and finding belonging. My name is Jason Yoder, and I'm a counselor here at CAPS at Penn State University. What do we know about connecting? Well, it can be exciting. Connecting can be challenging at times. It can be a time of multiple feelings. It can be a time to build new strengths and skills. It can also be a time of growth and of self-confidence. It can help you build your resiliency. But when we think about this, we want you to embrace the opportunity. We're going to talk more about how to connect. Connecting and transitions kind of go together. Transitions can be a natural time to build connections. So we can think about how we dealt with transitions in the past, and that might help you if you're going through a transition now. College is full of transitions. Maybe you're new to school. Maybe you're coming back to school. Maybe you're graduating and transitioning out. Maybe you're having a transition within relationships or friend groups. College is a time of a lot of transitions and connecting throughout. So as we're thinking about these transitions, we can also analyze ourselves, think about things that we used to do in the past that could be helpful and kind of reinvent that or use that to kind of make connecting work now. It can be good to give transitions time, and it can be good to be open to trying new things, putting yourself beyond your comfort zone. And this is, doing that in a safe and helpful way. So what are some trends with transitions? Well, this may be a different community. It could be a different social environment or have different norms. It might be a different academic environment if it's coming from high school or from another campus to Penn State, or if you're kind of going through your courses and to getting into courses that are more difficult in your major. Maybe you're going from undergrad to graduate school. There can be differences with your routine or logistics. We'll talk more about that. And there can kind of be different financial concerns. So let's talk about some secrets building community. How did you find your community in the past? Maybe utilizing some of those strategies. I think a great opportunity is trying to find a way to make, Penn State University Park can be a big campus, trying to find ways to make that feel smaller. So ways to do that is to start with people geographically close to you, maybe people on your floor or in your building or in your classes, and start to branch out from there. Think about making common interest groups like clubs, orgs, and sports, and then making connections through those. Another idea is to attend and piggyback from other programs. So maybe you have an RA and they do an RA program. Maybe right afterwards, you invite people from the program out for pizza or to hang out. That could be a way that you don't have to party plan or make the initial program, but can still kind of go beyond that and build more community. I really like the idea of doing things that repeat. Sometimes I talk about bowling. So you might have an experience where you go out with a group of friends and maybe you go bowling or do something like that. And you have a really good time. And then afterwards, everybody's like, yeah, we should do this again. And everybody's like, yeah. And then it never happens. Maybe you've experienced that. So that's the difference between bowling and joining a bowling team. Joining a bowling team, like every Thursday, you're going to go bowl because that's what the team does. Finding things that automatically repeat. Maybe you're not into bowling and you want to do like a wing night or a trivia night or watch sports on Sunday or something like that. If you're unable to connect, it can be good to think about changing up your routine, kind of having a reshuffle. This automatically happens between semesters, but it could also happen, if you're just like, I'm not connecting, maybe trying to change your routine by eating at a different time, taking a different bus, walking a different way. You might just kind of brush up with other people and being able to kind of make some connection that way. Sometimes people can get discouraged because they're not making connections right away. And another way of thinking about that is some groups might already form. So, just making a friend or two, you can gain entry to a whole group of friends. So that can also work in your favor, even though it can feel kind of bad if you're not immediately connecting. It can actually be good because some groups might be setting up and you might be able to kind of get pulled into an established group of friends. When we think about friends, sometimes students talk to me and they think about like a line in the sand. Like on one side of the line, you're my friend, and on the other side of the line, you're not my friend. I prefer this method, these concentric circles. So here you can kind of see like the bullseye would be your inner circle, and our language sometimes support that. This is my inner circle of friends. Then there's that white kind of middle circle of friends, and then that blue kind of outer circle, like acquaintances. And I would challenge that all three are important. If everybody was an inner circle friend, we might be exhausted, staying up all night, doing heart-to-hearts, and just feeling too close all the time. But if everybody was an outer circle acquaintance, that might feel quite lonely. But sometimes an acquaintance can be really valuable too. Maybe you're eating and you recognize somebody and they're an acquaintance, and you could say, let's eat together. And that could really feel a need of having somebody to eat with. Also, people can move beyond these friend groups. So maybe if you're just arriving to campus, everybody feels like an acquaintance. But as you kind of develop trust, share some information about yourself, and that's reciprocated, and you have some conversations, they can kind of move to the friend circle, and then maybe even to the close friend circle. We like this idea of setting yourself up for success, building routines and self-care that are helping you. So what I like to think about is we are what we repeatedly do. Greatness then is not an act, but a habit. So trying to create good routines that involve self-care and things that are going to help you, like getting good sleep. Exercise can also be really important. Being on a good eating schedule. Thinking about your class schedule can be really important. Having a social calendar. I know that can sound corny or cheesy, but having a social calendar can be really helpful. Knowing, yeah, this is when I have time to hang out and relax. This is when I'm going to engage with people. It can be really good and give you something to look forward to. And just finding meaning in what you're doing, finding meaning if that's giving back and volunteering, doing things that you enjoy, knowing that you're working towards a goal. Finding meaning can be really important as well. I think as you're connecting, it can be really helpful to take advantage of your student status, just like Thor there, Chris Helmsworth. It can be good to think about what the campus already sponsors. So think about Res Life, Campus Rec, student activities, and many others across campus that might already be sponsoring activities that are already planned for you. It can be good to think about what discounts are found both on and off campus. Make a list of things while you're a student can be really fun and something to really help you connect. So is there something that you'd like to do while you're still a student? Have you skied at Tussey? Have you hiked Mount Nittany? Have you eaten at the Creamery? Are there things in this general area that you haven't done that you'd like to do while you're still a student? Maybe it's going to Hershey Park or going to an event at the Bryce Jordan Center. So let's look at barriers, things that get in the way. Knowing that building community takes time and energy, feeling stressed or anxious, challenges to our self-confidence. There can sometimes be a lack of support until they're created. So that can kind of be like the chicken or the egg. It can be hard to feel connected until you build the connections. And then there can be logistical obstacles. So identifying, thinking about some of these things can be really good, and then it can think about ways to overcome them, work around them, figure out solutions to them so they don't trip you up. What are some resources? Well, certainly friends and families. Here at campus, we have academic advisors, we have faculty. There's other offices on campus. Maybe you can think of others. We named student activities, there's HPW, even CAPS, but think that this is really a resource-rich environment where there's a lot of people here to help and support students. So thinking about all these things, why don't we think a little bit about what's next? So if you want to open a Word document or take out a piece of paper and just start to write out 3 action steps. Maybe it's things that you heard from this presentation that would feel like, how can I connect? And what would be my next step, my next action step? We also just wanted to share some of our information. So this is provided by Counseling and Psychological Services, CAPS. More information about CAPS can be found on our website. We also have listed our phone number and our hours of operation. If you're experiencing an emergency, you could always call 911. Or if you're just having an urgent situation, there's the Penn State crisis line at 1-877-229-6400. We also have other resources available to you at PSU, the Red Folder Project, WellTrack, and YouTube videos like the one you're watching today. CAPS can also be followed on social media with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks so much, and we hope this information helps you get more connected here at Penn State.
Learn more about our services. If you are at University Park, call us at 814-863-0395. For Commonwealth and World Campus students, go to this site to find contact information for your counseling resources.